Hi everyone, my name is Katja, I'm Cat Coloring, and a warm welcome to my channel. Today's video is a flip through of a coloring book I recently acquired from Amazon Japan, and I mentioned it in my art haul video a couple of days ago. So this is a coloring book by the Japanese illustrator Eriy. We all know Eriy because she has made the romantic country coloring books that we have known for many years, and they are very popular and I absolutely love them. They are amazing to color in. This one is the World Heritage Traveling Through Time and Places coloring book. So this was published in 2019 and reprinted in 2023. So that was last year. I bought this on Amazon Japan, which was quite cheap. It was actually half the price I would have paid for this coloring book in Europe. So it was actually a bargain. So because this book is 5 years old, there are flip throughs available on YouTube, but they are not translated flip throughs. So these flip throughs are just where you flip through the book and you see all of the pages. But some of the pages perhaps don't make actual sense if you don't know what they are actually about. And I have translated this coloring book from Japanese to my own language, Danish, and then back to English. So I will take you through this coloring book and I will tell you what it's all about. And this is first part of a series of 4 coloring books. And centered in these coloring books are the girl Manon, and we know her from the romantic country books where she has this flower shop, and a migratory bird called Hershey. And that's her friend. And then her teddy bear Timmy is also part of this book series. So she is the main character in these books, and we follow her through world literature, the World Heritage Places, legends, and fairy tales. And this is the first book in this new series consisting of 4 coloring books. So let me take you through this and let's get started. So I hope that you have grabbed yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea. And then we will just begin. So the first pages we meet in this book are these, and this is actually all of the book's contents, these first 4 pages. So it begins with, let us embark on a journey through the World Heritage Places and use coloring books to do so. And then you can see it's divided into sections, and it's actually divided into Europe and different countries in Europe. And also Europe actually fills up a great part of the book. And then we move on to Africa, America, Oceania, Asia, where we end up in Japan. So after these introductory pages, or the content pages here, we get a little introduction to the main characters and to what the book is all about. And it says here, the beginning of the journey. For Manon, her here, who lives in a small island nation at the edge of the world, the stories of strange countries told by the migratory bird Hershey were very attractive and shining. Uniquely shaped buildings which the like you have never seen before, and a rich nature, and the story that has been. Ever since I was a small girl, I have always fantasized about it and wanted to see it with my own eyes one day. So this is sort of a mixture of, I think, perhaps Eriy's own wishes, and I also think that Eriy actually has been a lot of the places mentioned and drawn here in this book. I don't know if you follow Eriy, but I actually follow her on Instagram, and she's always around traveling. For example, this spring she was several weeks in the Czech Republic, and at the moment, or recently, she has been to the UK. Both London and other places in the UK. So Eriy travels a lot. And I think that she gets her inspiration for her coloring books through these travels. So here you can see what it's all about, and the main characters, Manon and Hershey, are introduced here. So here is Manon, a girl who lives on a small island. I love to daydream while I listen to Hershey telling me stories about other countries. This is the first time I leave the country where I was born. And here Hershey, Manon's best friend and a migratory bird. During the winter, they travel to other places and arrive at Manon's house in the spring. And then it continues. One day, Manon gathers her courage and travels with Hershey to the strange places he visits during the winter. She packs her suitcase with her favorite clothes. You can see here that she's packing. And her toothbrush and toothpaste and her teddy bear Timmy, the little bear here, she has had since she was a little girl. This is the adventure she has always dreamed about. So now we are probably, I think it's called, introduced to the story, and then it begins. And we begin in Europe, and we begin in France. So the first pages here in this book are from France, and this is actually from the Mirror Hall at the Castle of Versailles, where the kings of old in France used to live before they were beheaded during the French Revolution in the 18th century. So this is the Mirror Hall at Versailles, and we have a ball here. So this double page, beautiful, beautiful double page, is this Mirror Hall. You can color, and you can see the ball and all of the fancy dresses and the clothes the people are wearing here. So if we move on to the next two pages, it's still in France. This is a page where Eriy has drawn some of these sewing equipments used to make these wonderful ball dresses. You can see the wonderful ball shoes here, embroidered with flowers and stuff, and bows and everything you need to attend such a ball. The next page, we have moved outside of the Castle of Versailles. This is the village and the village pond with the swans in it, and this is situated near Versailles. You can see Hershey up here with a some flowers here. No, it's not Hershey. Hershey is here. You can see he always has this bow here around his neck. So this is Hershey with a flower. And then we have the water lilies in this beautiful pond here. So when we continue, then we are still in France, but we have moved on to a village or a town called Provence. And this is where they hold a medieval festival during the spring or summer. And here Manon stands at some of these festival stands here, where you can buy bread and cakes and I also think perhaps some vegetables here. And on this page, they are still at this festival, and they meet a band playing music. And you can see Hershey, the bird, is here, and Manon participates in playing with the music, together with this little band of musicians. And then we move on from France to England. So these double pages here, this double page is from England. And here we have Westminster Abbey, we have the clock tower, Big Ben. And she has written, when I looked at the great clock, I felt as if I had walked into a fantasy world. The fantasy world of Peter Pan, which we can see here with Tinkerbell, and Alice in Wonderland. Travel through this fairy tale world. So looking at Big Ben has made Eriy think about all of these English stories about Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. We also have a witch up here at the sky. And this is all of this imagination which comes from looking at Big Ben in London. So we move on, and we are still in England, but not in London. We are in the Lake District, where Manon visits this cottage. And the Lake District is known for its beautiful cottages and flowers and nature here. And this is actually not just any cottage. This is the cottage of Beatrix Potter, you know, the writer who wrote the Peter the Rabbit books. So this is, and it's so precise in its description that this is Beatrix Potter's cottage that I think that Eriy perhaps has been there and used it in this coloring book. So here we are still in the Lake District, and it's tea time, and Manon and Timmy visits Emma's tea room here. Can't find Hershey. Oh, he's here, flying right above them. So it's tea time, and Timmy, the bear, is joining Manon and Hershey for this cup of tea. So now you can easily guess that we have switched country yet again. We are in Italy. And this is Venice, because, you know, we can recognize it by the water and the gondola. And Venice, the city of water, where you can sail in gondolas. And sail on the canals past these beautiful houses. So this page is particularly interesting because this is from Verona, where Romeo and Juliet is set, the story by Shakespeare. And this is actually Juliet's house in Verona, and we have Juliet here and Romeo here. So this is before the very sad ending where they both die. So this is depicted here on this page with Romeo and Juliet. We are still in Italy. On these two pages, we have moved on to a city called, and I don't know how to pronounce it because I can't speak Italian, but it's called Caltagirone. And this is a staircase. It's very famous because it's a ceramics, or is it pronounced ceramics staircase in this city of Caltagirone. And it's, I have never heard of it, but apparently it's a very well-known one. And since it is in this book, I imagine it's some sort of something to do with some World Heritage place, because all of these pages depicts World Heritage places. And here, Manon is at a ceramics pottery in the city of Caltagirone, where she is painting on some of the ceramics. And you can see it's depicted on the walls, and here next to her all of these sorts of pots and plateries and all the stuff you can make here. So we go from Italy to Spain. And on this page we are actually in Barcelona. And this is the Park, and I don't know how to pronounce it, please excuse me, the Park Güell by Antonio Gaudí. It's apparently some sort of very famous park in Barcelona. I can see Hershey up here in the sky. And on the other page, we have a historical person from Spain, the Queen Isabella, or Isabel. I think she's called in English, of Spain. Actually, it was, well, her and her husband gathered all of Spain and united Spain. But before she was Queen of Spain, she was Queen of Castile. And yes, it is her, the Isabella, or Isabel, who supported Christopher Columbus and made it possible for him to sail across the Atlantic and rediscover America, because I am Danish, I am a descendant of the Vikings, and we all know here in Scandinavia that the Vikings actually discovered America first, way up in Canada. So that is her. And that is from I think it's some, it's meant to be some portrait from the castle in Sevilla, or Seville, I think it's called in English. So we are still in Spain in this double page, and this is from a spring festival in Seville. You can see flamenco dancer, and you can see all of these beautiful flamenco dresses, and they're also on horseback, and they have all of these flower decorations in the tents. So we move on from Spain to Portugal, and these two pages are from Portugal. This is from, I think it's called Penha Palace in Sintra City. So this is a famous palace located in Sintra City in Portugal. And this is, and you can clearly see we are in a library, and this is the famous university library in Coimbra. You can see both Manon and, oh, that's actually a bat. Hershey is with her, and together with a bat. I don't know why there should be bats in a library, but you can also see the bats sleeping up here. Moving on to Greece, and this is from Athens. This is from the Acropolis. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, represented with the owl here, and art and crafts and strategy in war. So she was a goddess for many things, and also the patron goddess of the city of Athens. And this is from the Athena temple up on the Acropolis. And you can also see it's her because we have the shield with the Medusa head here, the Gorgon with the snake hair here. And people, when they looked at it, they were supposed to turn into stone. That was why she wore it. And on the opposite side here, or page here, we are not actually in Greece, we are in Germany. And this is from the town hall. This is actually the town hall in Bremen, which is a city in Germany. And this is a very, very famous statue of the 4 street musicians. And there is a fairy tale about these street musicians. I can't just remember it now, but I remember when I was a child, I heard this fairy tale many times. And I have also been to Bremen because I have been to Germany a lot of times during my childhood and my teenage years, because we have some friends who live down in Germany. Near the Donau, but later on one of them moved to, I think she lives in Berlin now, or near Berlin. We are still in Germany. Here we have the cathedral in Cologne, Köln in Deutsch or German, Cologne here, this cathedral. And you can see here that we have traveled, and this is the winter. We have a Christmas tree, and a lot of Christmas trees actually, and we have holly and so on here, and Christmas ornaments. And this page is exactly Christmas ornaments that Manon buys at this Christmas market they have in Cologne. A lot of German cities have these Christmas markets during December month, and you can buy all sorts of beautiful Christmas ornaments and things and cookies there. But we move on, and now we are in the Czech Republic. We are in Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, and this is Easter eggs from the Easter market that they hold in the old town square in the historical center of Prague. So this page depicts this, and you can see that Manon here with Hershey has bought some of all of these Easter eggs. On the opposite page here, we are still in the Czech Republic, and Manon is up investigating because there are rumors that once an alchemist lived at the castle of Prague, and now she wanders in this castle, and apparently she has found this room where the alchemist supposedly lived. And you know, alchemists are those scientists from old times that were set to be able to make gold of some sort of chemical process. So we move on, and this page we are still in the Czech Republic. This is a cavalry parade, and they are wearing traditional costumes. So this page mostly depicts these traditional costumes that people in the Czech Republic used to wear on certain festivals and, you know, old holidays and so on. Very beautiful, embroidered skirts and so on. But on this next page, we have moved on. We are in Latvia. And Latvia has only gotten one page in this book. This is it. We are in Riga, the capital of Latvia. And this is a store, a boutique, with hand-knitted baskets, or hand-woven, I don't know. And also hand-knitted mittens and socks and so on. You can see the yarn here. And the next page, we have moved on to Estonia. And we have moved on to the historical center of Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, the old Danish town. The Danes conquered Estonia and made it Christian in the beginning of the 13th century. Actually, so it's old Danish land from the time where we went on crusades and so on. So this is a souvenir shop. And the thing about it is that the souvenir shops are held in some sort of medieval style here. And Eriy has drawn this sort of medieval style here with the souvenir shop. And here in Tallinn, it's a soup shop where you can go in. It's autumn, and this warm soup that you can buy in this beautiful soup shop with the bread can give you the warmth again. Also, Eriy writes. And then we move on to Croatia. So here, Manon is in the national park of, and I don't know how to pronounce it, please excuse me, the national park of Plitvice, where she takes a walk here, together with Hershey. So this must be some sort of very famous national park, I guess, since it's a World Heritage Place. And we are still in Croatia on this place. This is the old city of Dubrovnik. The old city is surrounded by walls, it says, and it also says that she met a cat and also a painter just in front of the cathedral who painted the cathedral. So this is depicted here. So on this double page we are in Belgium, and this is the historical center of the city of Brugge. And we have these rows of houses just lying there, street after street. And on the first floor, we find the restaurants. And then there are shops, or people just live here on the ground floor. And here on this page, we have moved on to Hungary. And this depicts these beautiful souvenir shops in the city, and they have this traditional handmade embroideries that you can buy in Hungary. And this page just shows these beautiful embroideries on cloths and so on. On the next page, we are in the Netherlands, in Kinderjik, and you can see the landscape with the windmills in the background. We have some, I think it's actually tulips here in the windowsill. And then she says that the landscape is beautiful and it makes her feel like she's living in a windmill. Moving on, we are in Poland here. And here in Poland is the historical center of Krakow. I have actually been there. It's so beautiful in Krakow, the old city center there. Really, really beautiful, and the castle absolutely wonderful. But I'm also a historian, you know, so I like old things really, really much. I love it. So here you can take a trip here in Krakow in a carriage driven by horses. And on this page we are in Romania, in the city of Sighisoara, or so I pronounce it. The birthplace of the historical Dracula, Vlad Dracul. And he gave life to the myths of Dracula, written by, for example, Bram Stoker back in the 19th century. You can see the coffin here, and it's midnight and the candles. So this is a very spooky page you can get a lot out of when you color it. So, and we end Europe, the tour of Europe, in Russia. And this page, you all know these. They are from the old city, the old capital, St. Petersburg. And this is apparently where this babushka doll, where they are from, or originally they were called, and I don't know how to speak Russian, so please excuse me, but I think it's called matryoshka or something like that. But we say babushka today. But you know the dolls where you open one and then there's a doll inside and so on until you get to the very end. And I think that the word matryoshka, it means some sort of an old lady or grandmother. And she is the biggest one, and then you get to the smallest one. I think that they actually all have names. So it's a grandmother or so on. I don't know. I've never had such a doll. But they're very popular in other places in Europe. And here we are still in St. Petersburg. This is a ballet from the Mariinsky Theater. And this is the show called Sleeping Beauty. So Sleeping Beauty as a ballet. Inspiring. And a very, very beautiful place, I must say. So that was Europe. Now we move on here to Africa, and we start in Morocco, and here in Marrakesh. And I think that Marrakesh is the capital of Morocco. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is. And in Marrakesh, there are a lot of beautiful mansions and palaces, and even the bathrooms, and this one is a bathroom depicted, are beautiful, and you can see with the flowers and the bath bubbles and all that. So this is a bathroom from one of the beautiful mansions of Marrakesh. And here we are still in Morocco, in Marrakesh, and it is tea time in the old city. And you can see all of this beautiful adornments of the door and the plants, and it looks very peaceful, beautiful here, beautiful drawings. So we move on this page. I imagine all know what this is about. This is, of course, Egypt and the pyramids of Giza, which, especially the big one, perhaps holds a secret or two. And then here we are in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, and the historical center where they have markets and the old marketplace where you can buy perfumes here. So these are perfume bottles here with many beautiful fragrances that you can buy. And of course we end Africa with a visit to Tanzania and the Serengeti National Park, filled with the wild animals, giraffes, elephants, and so on. Beautiful, beautiful double page here. So from Africa we move to America, and it's autumn, and we are in the historical district of Quebec, which lies in Canada. So this is from Quebec. And here we have traveled to Mexico, to the I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm just trying. Oaxaca Historical Center, where you can find these absolutely beautiful traditional embroidered costumes and dresses. And Manon, she buys one of these to take with her on her travels. And here we are in Peru. And here you can see some of the beautiful nature of the forest in Peru. We have hummingbirds trying to get some nectar from the flowers. And now we move on to Oceania. And here we are in Tahiti, or French Polynesia. And here in Tahiti, there are a lot of antique religious shrines and temples, especially one called Marae Tapuatea. Oh my God, that was really hard to pronounce. Tapuatea. And here Manon learns how to make these beautiful flower crowns of these wonderful tropical flowers here. And now something that is very easy to pronounce, this beautiful double page. She is in Australia, and this is the Great Barrier Reef. We all know it, the world's largest coral reef, and she swims with the sea turtles and all of the other sea animals here. Beautiful, beautiful double page here. And then we move to Asia, and this page here depicts double page. We are in Jordan, and this is the trading route Wadi Rum, a trade route through the desert. It was known as the Moon Valley. Very beautiful name. And it also says that riding on a camel in the desert at night is very romantic. And further north of this trading route lies the old caravan city of Petra. And we all know Petra from the Transformer movies, and also one of the Indiana Jones movies, the third one, where they end up in this old desert city carved into the cliffs, you know, the pink cliffs. Very beautiful, and a very, very beautiful double page here from Jordan. So here we are in Iran, and this is Elam Garden in a Persian style, surrounded by very beautiful waterways and blessed with an abundance of precious water. You know, when you lie in these desert areas, it's good to have water. And in Elam Garden, the roses flourish, and it feels like paradise. And it really looks like paradise, this page, I have to say. And also the tiles on the walls of the palace are also very beautiful. And from Iran, we travel to Vietnam. And this is the old city of Hoi An, which is lit up with lanterns on the night of this lantern festival. And this makes the city very colorful. So you can easily picture how colorful and beautiful you can make this page with a night scene and these glowing lanterns here. And also it says that let's go for a walk in the city at night. And Manon is prepared to go for a walk here together with Hershey. And this beautiful double page, we are in Turkey, in the Cappadocian area. On an early morning sky over Cappadocia, many balloons float over the mysteriously shaped rocks. This will be an unforgettable memory for the rest of your life, Eriy has written. And you can see here Hershey and Manon looking out over the landscape and all of these balloons. From Turkey, we go to China, which is the last destination before we reach Japan and the book is finished. And here we are in the Fujian province in China, and deep into the mountains, she has found a very strange house. It's a circular house, which means it's a round house, and gives you a strange feeling like you have wandered into another world, it says. And here we have finally reached Japan, where the book ends. Here we are looking at some creatures and beings living in the Shirakami Mountains, the biggest beech forest in the world, which lies across the prefectures of Aomori and Akita, and homestead for many plants and animals, like these golden eagles and the black woodpeckers and the European hares, and there are also trouts in the lake, and you can also watch some deer in the forest. And here we are in the old capital of Nara. How was life in Heijokyo? When you read Maniyushu, you may catch a glimpse of life for women living in the capital 1,300 years ago. So 1,300 years ago, 1,300 years ago, this city of Nara was the old capital city in Japan. And there apparently is a book by an author called Maniyushu, who has written about the life of women at this time. And here it is. Antique kimono shop in Kyoto. Kyoto, also a well-known city in Japan, was founded more than 1,200 years ago and is a place for many shrines and temples in Japan. And many of these shrines and temples are World Heritage places. So it says, let's go for a walk wearing a kimono. It will be a special walk. And you can see this kimono shop. They have some very, very beautiful kimonos. And then the journey has ended, and Manon and Hershey has returned to Manon's house. It says, end of the journey. An adventurous travel to strange countries has been my dream since I was a child. Autumn in Quebec, ball in the Versailles Castle, diving in the Great Barrier Reef. These wonderful World Heritage places are amazing, where you can reflect over the history and meet wonderful people. When I close my eyes, I remember the funny and beautiful days on my journeys. Pour yourself a nice cup of warm tea and enjoy remembering your journeys. Or travels. I think it's actually travels here. So that was the World Heritage Traveling Through Time book with both newer and older places. And here in the end, there are some cards here that you can also color and send to someone or use as bookmarks or the likes of that. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this translated flip through of the World Heritage coloring book by Eriy. I hope it has given you a greater understanding of the drawings in the book and perhaps inspired you even more to begin coloring in this book, and perhaps also inspired you as to how you want to color this book now that you know which places it actually the drawings are from and what they really depict. I hope that you will like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I also hope that you will share this video with other coloring enthusiasts, and especially to those who have this book and perhaps wants to know what it's really all about. So that was it for today. I hope that you will have a very nice day. Take care of yourself until I see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.